God's timing isn't always our timing. He may not work things out the way we planned, but He is working things out for better. This COVID-19 pandemic has really changed everything around the world. From our basic routinary way of living to celebration of big events has suddenly shifted to new normal.
Today, our dear parents and their students who patiently waited. Finally, it's over. St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao Aklan Incorporated proudly presents its junior high school completion ceremony for the school year 2020-2021 with the theme Strengthening the Quality of Education Amid the COVID-19 Pandemic.
This most awaited event has never been made possible without the support of our equally and highly esteemed individuals. From our dynamic and very supportive school's Director Principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, to our dedicated faculty members, proud parents, guardians, friends, ladies and gentlemen, let us witness them in their processional. A pleasant and joyous viewing to all.
The entrance of national color. The processional.
Lupang mi rende uno strumento della vostra pace.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Dove ci odio, lasciarlo seminare l'amore.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love.
Dove c'è ferito, perdono. Dove c'è dubbio, fede. Dove c'è disperazione, sperare. Dove c'è nerezza, illuminarsi. Dove c'è la tristezza, gioia. Oh, divine Master, granted I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console,
To be understood as to understand.
to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying that we are born again.
It isn't dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again to eternal
Lord, make me
life. Signore,
an instrument
of your peace.
Ikaw Aklan, among ginapalangga sa tagipuso na ikaw makita. Bisan man siin kami nga tanan maato, ruha mong isipaganto una kimo. Ruha mong aklan, among pagabantayan, di ka malayran. Rupagyaong pati man kalipayan, dagani mo kamuntanan. Ikaw Aklan, probinsya nga Mandaran, may dagat ka, may bukid pa ka di ka bantog sa kalibutan at kulturang ginapabugal niya bisan tanan. O among Aklan, among pagapantayan, ring kamarayran, Rujos na tun, imaw nagagiyan, Aklan, probinsya nga mauswag mabuhay ka. Rujos na tun, imaw nagagiyan, Aklan, probinsya nga mauswag mabuhay ka.
At this moment, let us hear the words of welcome from Grade 10 completer.
A special greetings to our highly respected guest speaker, Mrs. Maria Melanie R. Marcus, CPA, to our dynamic director principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, hardworking faculty and staff, our supportive parents and guardians, fellow junior high school completers, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good day. The coronavirus pandemic has caused many junior high school completion to be replaced with virtual, drive-in and other alternative ceremonies, and so, the tradition of welcoming and addressing the batch at this huge moment in the young lives is a little different this year. Today, we are having our junior high school completion class of 2021 with the theme, Strengthening the Quality of Education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The past year has been challenging for everyone in different ways, especially in education. I am sure we have all felt a wide range of emotions and experienced things we would never have imagined. But behind of all that, still we managed to continue our learning through modular. As we move on from this junior high school and embark on the next journey in senior high school, life will at some point begin to feel like it's going too fast. When life becomes too much like a race for you, I encourage you to find that one thing that allows you to unwind and refocus, like performing physical activity or your favorite hobby with following the safety and health protocols. Let us not be afraid of what awaits us. Let us always be optimistic about the future. Remember, we are all men, and from time to time, man makes a difference. Embrace change as a normal trend of existence. So, on behalf of Franciscan's class of 2020-2021, I welcome you all in this junior high school completion. I wish you all good health and happiness.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Joshua D. Renacido, for that warm welcome. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the main highlight of today's event. To do the honor of presenting the school year's candidates for junior high school completion, may we have our very own and dedicated school's director principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, followed right away by the acceptance and confirmation by Dr. Louis Zarola.
Dr. Louis B. Zarola, Public Schools District Supervisor, District of Malinao. I have the honor to present to you the candidates for completion of junior high school for the school year 2020-2021 of St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan, Incorporated, of whom 66 are males and 43 are females, a total of 109 students. I hereby certify that they have satisfactorily completed all the requirements of the revised basic education curriculum prescribed by the Department of Education. May I request you to confirm their completion.
To our dynamic school principal, competent and dedicated teachers, supportive parents and stakeholders, guests, Good afternoon. By the authority vested in me by the Department of Education, through the school's Division Superintendent, Dr. Miguel Mac D. Apusin, CESA-5, and upon recommendation of your school principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, of whom 66 are male and 43 are females, with a total of 109 students who have satisfactorily completed the minimum requirements following the K-12 basic education curriculum as prescribed by the Department of Education. I hereby confirm you completers of St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan, Incorporated. Congratulations!
It is my great pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for this event. She is an alumna of St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan, Incorporated from batch 1981, a Ruby Jubilarian, a native of Poblacion, Malinao, Aklan, and was born on October 17, 1964. She married Vicente Luis Q. Marcos, who's from Batac, Ilocos Norte. They have 4 children, namely Nico, Vince, Vina, and Vaughn. She finished her elementary education at Malinao Elementary School year 1971 to 1977 as a consistent, outstanding pupil from grades 1 to 5 and graduated as first honors in grade 6. She finished her secondary education at St. Joseph's Academy year 1978 to 1981 as a consistent first honor student from first year to third year and graduated as valedictorian. She studied at the University of the Philippines in the Visayas year 1982 to 1985. She then pursued Master in Business Administration at College of the Holy Spirit, Manila. She passed the CPA licensure examination on May 1998. She worked as a junior editor year 1988 to 1989 and became systems analyst at Isuton Department Store year 1989 to 1990. She became a municipal secretary at the local government of Malinao year 1990 to 1991, and at the present time she is working at the Land Bank of the Philippines and is the chief of the division of Calibo Accounting Center. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome a certified public accountant, Maria Melanie Rugan Marcos.
Our very energetic principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, or Father Shawi as we fondly call him, our hardworking members of the faculty and staff, parents, dear grade 10 completers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I feel humbled and gratified with this invitation to be the inspirational speaker of the grade 10 Franciscans in their completion ceremony. Thank you for giving me this chance to share and for giving me the privilege of coming home into the welcoming arms of my high school alma mater, the St. Joseph's Academy. Our dear St. Joseph's Academy has stood the test of time for the last 74 years. The involvement of the parents, the alumni, and the teachers are the lifeblood of the school. That is why St. Joseph's Academy is thriving despite the present circumstances. Just like all of you, 40 years ago, I graduated from this school, excited, yet anxious of what awaits when I would enter a new threshold of my life as a student. I know we share the same feelings, the same emotions and expectations, yet it was a far different scene from your graduation today. We did experience the grandeur of walking up the stage with our parents, adding to the excitement the presence of friends and relatives alike. We savored the congratulatory hugs and kisses afforded to us by our well-wishers and the embraces and gestures of goodbyes to our dear classmates whom we had spent fruitful and wonderful years of togetherness, in which you dear graduates of the junior high school will not be experiencing today because of the hazards posed by this pandemic. We are in a virtual situation. But then, let me remind all of you, let not this pandemic hinder your capabilities to be successful and be what you want to be. Thanks to the great possibilities brought by these amazing technologies. Although most of your school activities are cut short and seem to be stranded in mid-air, and all of you are confined within the four walls of your homes, you are still lucky to be continuing your studies and at the same time keeping yourselves safe and away from the hazards posed by this virus. Take this as a challenge. Crisis in life is only a detour because it takes us off from our comfort zones and routines. Listen to yourselves and do what your heart dictates. Step up with courage and conviction. Have that burning desire and consistencies to keep going despite all the odds. Dream big, because dream is absolutely free. But remember, graduates, the journey towards your dreams have costs and are sold separately. You may encounter barriers and winding roads and may fail along the way. But do not lose hope and do not be disheartened, because you know what fail means? It is first attempt in learning. Again, FAIL means first attempt in learning. Success would not be as glorious if you have not experienced failures. So, do not forget that success and failures always go together and should not be taken separately. Where do you go from here, our dear grade 10 completers? There is still another 2 years in senior high school, another new setup in our educational system that somehow causes delay in your quest for a college degree. What awaits you after graduation? What is it that you need to prepare to tackle another journey that is too daunting? Yes, too many questions that made you confused and overwhelmed. Well, be comforted by the thought that you have your teachers and parents as mentors and partners in your journey of learning and becoming. Be thankful that St. Joseph's Academy has dynamic teachers that have imparted to you great foundation of learning because of its consistency and relevance, with its track record of integrity, credibility, and positive self-image. They imparted morally upright values and intelligent nourishment to unleash your potentials. Your teachers play a crucial role in shaping and nurturing your minds. As what Walt Disney said, our great resource is the minds of our children. Fast forward to year 2027. You are supposed to have finished college. The struggles you encountered in college life had shaped you to be stronger persons and you became professionals. Others may not be successful enough to finish college, but do not be ashamed of what you become. We live in a society that applauds glowing academic successes and professions with high-paying jobs. But we cannot deny the fact that junk shop operators, ambulant vendors, dressmakers, hairdressers, to name a few, have become huge successes and continue to earn public admiration and respect. Our academic background does not define the size of our success. Our individual successes are defined by the measurements set by our own hearts and desires. Regardless of how much money we make and how many public recognition we received because of our positions, at the end of the day, what matters is whether we can say we are truly happy and contented. And being happy is a matter of choice. Some of us may be happy looking at their overfed bank accounts, enjoying the comfort of their beautiful homes and top-of-the-line cars. And some may be happy just being married with healthy and bright kids and living a simple life. Some are contented by just being with their loved ones, watching their primetime show at night, and being plantitos and plantitas during the day. Or just the act of being a blessing to someone that day gives them happiness and contentment. Earning my degree in accountancy was never a party, neither was it a walk in the park. I had to continuously burn my midnight oil so as not to lose my scholarship. I was not afforded with generous allowance due to our parents' meager income, but thanks to that, most of my time and attention were focused on my studies and was able to hurdle the hassles of college life. I was blessed with loving, supportive, and prayerful parents whom I look up to as my inspiration and, undeniably, the instruments behind my success. They gave me the best that they could and motivated me to do the best in everything that I do. To do with passion and endeavor, in endeavor to maximize my God-given talents and abilities. Passing the CPA board was of course an answered prayer. My perseverance and diligence had at last paid off. But then, life after earning a degree was even harder. The pressure of landing a job was a race, a struggle even, where only the fittest survive. The path to success isn't always smooth, so you must keep going. Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life, and tough situations build strong people in the end. It was only then that we realized that it is in the face of these challenges that we become winners, because we were able to pick ourselves up every time we fall. After imparting this message, I go back to my daily routine, juggling motherhood and my 8-hour job, doing my chores at home, reporting back to the office and earn the day's living, reconciling debits and credits and balancing the transactions, attending the issues and concerns of my staff, and sending reports to our head office. These are the demands being the chief accountant of a bank. Being a mother, working mother is not easy. For us women with triple role, wife, mother, and career person, I must learn the art of multitasking, considering that I have a very demanding job with a bank. I try to create a balance of priorities at home and at work, and to manage in my time in order to provide and attend to the needs of my family. I don't want to give you inflated expectations of what awaits you after earning your degree, but forge ahead to start searching for yours. Start chasing your dreams and be the best versions of yourselves. I encourage that you find your respective places under the sun and work hard. Then, claim your fair share of the dignity that comes with your hard and honest labors. If you choose to leave your chosen field of study or have a change of heart and pursue other interests, strive to be the best. If you decide to be a blogger, a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, CPA, or a public servant, or a parent, anything, be the best that you can be. But by all means, be happy. In closing, I want to congratulate our grade 10 completers for what you have achieved thus far. May you soar to greater heights. Do not forget to involve God in your plans and acknowledge the nurturing and selfless gifts of your parents, because I believe there is no such thing as a self-made person. Likewise, appreciate the commitment and dedication of your mentors in educating you. To all the parents, cheers! I share your joy and excitement. And now, let's give each and everyone a very happy round of applause. Keep safe always, and God bless us all. Thank you.
At this moment, let us award this certificate of appreciation to our guest speaker. St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan Incorporated presents this certificate of appreciation to Maria Melanie R. Marcos, CPA, in sincere recognition and grateful acknowledgement for the invaluable support extended to St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan Incorporated as guest speaker during the junior high school completion ceremony given this 21st day of June in the year of the Lord 2021 at St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan Incorporated. Signed, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, Director Principal. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment for our completers has come. Let us welcome the completers and outstanding students for Class 2020-2021.
Grade 10 St. Luke.
Albacino Marjan Quinto, son of Mr. and Mrs. Giovanni R. Albacino. Barid Ivan Ray Tambong, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky C. Barid. David Jameson Sembrano Jr., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jameson I. David Sr. De Tomas Reniel De Tomas, son of Mr. and Mrs. Danilo M. De Tomas. De La Cruz Spike Fordy Magdael, son of Mrs. Glenda May M. De La Cruz. Garcia John Gerald Igiban, son of Mr. and Mrs. Marjo I. Garcia. Ibardolasa Paul Adrian Aguirre, son of Mr. and Mrs. Eric I. Ibardolasa. Indemne Vince Ponesto, son of Mr. and Mrs. Chris I. Indemne. Infante Leandre Rampola, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ray P. Infante. Iscala John Orbel Arca, son of Mr. and Mrs. Orlando R. Iscala. Malate Andre Joshua Rodolfo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Anthony G. Malate. Mosquera Glenmore Katipay, son of Mr. and Mrs. Desiderio D. Mosquera. Nicodemus Lawrence Javier, son of Mr. and Mrs. Macario I. Nicodemus. Rapis Andrexel Troy Mabasa, son of Mr. and Mrs. Georgie R. Rapis. Rehaba Justin Kenicio, son of Mr. and Mrs. Guillermo M. Rehaba. Rizan Charles Angel Irabon, son of Mr. and Mrs. Elizermo R. Rizan Jr. Salyador John Lloyd Irojo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Gerby A. Salyador. Salvacion Denzel Singson, son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfred A. Salvacion. Seraspi John Jovan Berdandino, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jomar Y. Seraspi. Silva Soder of Rance Joshua Igong Igong, son of Mr. and Mrs. Homer A. Silva. Villanueva Jeriel Inserto, son of Mr. and Mrs. Gerald M. Villanueva. Albacino Leia Abigail de Tomas, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro I. Albacino. Balonzo Juvelin Villamor, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paulino A. Balonzo. Beltran Rosie May Ibardo Lasa, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Isidro I. Beltran. Eusebio Carla May Remaldora, daughter of Mrs. Emma R. Ramos. Ibit Diana Joy, daughter of Miss April Jade F. Ibit. Ejeska Charlene Simangan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ramoncito I. Ejeska. Indemne Kyle Tiffany Arevalo, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Irving Y. Indemne. Ingeniero Mary Danica Eleda, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ariel G. Ingeniero. Isuga Tricia May Sanchez, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Clemente John Q. Isuga. Iyoyo Cristel Joy Tagudtol, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Joel I. Iyoyo. Iyoyo Jenica Marie Sanchez, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Janelle I. Iyoyo. Iyoyo Casey Tagudtol, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Joel I. Iyoyo. Ramon Alfea Jane Igis, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Adrian T. Ramon. Retuba Chanel Villorente, daughter of Miss Lizette O. Villorente. Roland Fanny Marie Rendo, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Felicissimo I. Roland. Santiago Jenny May Zapico, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Juanito F. Santiago.
Grade 10 St. John.
Baldomero Wesley J. Imbun, son of Mr. and Mrs. Wilson I. Baldomero. Beltran G. Mark Ibardo Lasa, son of Mr. and Mrs. Isidro I. Beltran. Kahilig Charlene Antonino, son of Mr. and Mrs. Charito M. Kahilig. De la Cruz Jason Buela, son of Mr. and Mrs. Giselle I. de la Cruz. Elias Kian Lee Solano, son of Mr. and Mrs. Noriel M. Elias. Escocio Charles Justin Nakabuan, son of Mrs. Laurelie N. Escocio. Iban Niño John Einstein Inamak, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jerome Medel I. Iban. Ibutnandi Jules Martin Fernandez, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dennis I. Ibutnandi. Ikagoy J. Mar Pagunsan, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jency C. Ikagoy. Igo Prince Anthony Espino, son of Mr. and Mrs. Giovanni M. Igo. Iledan John Mark Valenzuela, son of Mr. and Mrs. Marijo I. Iledan. Inan John Lawrence Rufo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Elmer I. Inan. Ingeniero Kent Taclin, son of Mr. and Mrs. Nolly I. Ingeniero. Irabon Fretz Reposar, son of Mr. and Mrs. Aldrin M. Irabon. Iraq Noel Christian Iscala, son of Mr. and Mrs. Reynold I. Iraq. Iturriaga Justin Vallejo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Gerardo I. Iturriaga. Manuel John Carlo Agustin, son of Mr. and Mrs. Danilo F. Manuel. Marmita Renz Tambong, son of Mr. and Mrs. Alejandro C. Marmita. Naig John Irvin Rogelio, son of Mr. and Mrs. Irwin R. Naig. Nama John Lee Sichon, son of Mr. and Mrs. Georgie N. Nama. Pabustan Dwayne Ryan Ingala, son of Mr. and Mrs. Antonio R. Pabustan. Takod Aljo Mantalaba, son of Mr. Alex E. Takod. Tugda Mark Jobek Andrade, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jomari M. Tugda. Arevalo Andrea Azura, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Armando I. Arevalo. Cabanban Gira Ruiz, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Agapito L. Cabanban Jr. Duque Febe Jane Malazo, daughter of Mrs. Shara Jean M. Duque. Flores Maria Richilda Yambin, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky R. Flores. Ingeniero Nicole Taco, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Nolly I. Ingeniero. Ipisqua Janeline Magsipo, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Erwin G. Ipisqua. Iskala Hannah Jane Sapwes, daughter of Mrs. Cheryl I. Mariano. Iturriaga Stephanie Jeda Mondragon, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Son O. Iturriaga. Iyoyo Leia Kaguruman, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sonny I. Iyoyo Sr. Lim Micaela Rose Ilio, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rosendo V. Lim. Postorioso Mary Jane Igar, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Emerito I. Postorioso Jr. Renacido Christine Baeño, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Chris R. Renacido. Vidal Alexa Berdandino, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Philip I. Vidal. Zagalas Beverly Igis, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Z. Zagalas.
Grayton St. James, Albaceno Abel Barcelona, the son of Mrs. Leia B. Albaceno. Albacino John Vincent Icamina, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Marlin B. Albacino. Aporilio Wesley, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Gary R. Sapico. Buenaventura Jorem Taligatos, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Segundino M. Buenaventura Jr. Federes John Briggs Pineda, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Elmer B. Federes. Ibon Benz Leonard Regino, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Bernardino R. Ibon Jr. Ibuyan Ashley Cabalfin, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alvin Ibuyan. Idoreta Jurel Reynado, the son of Mrs. Rose Melinda R. Idorita. Importado Richard Imperial, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Ricardo M. Importado. Inawasan Josam John Tidor, the son of Mrs. Erlinda T. Inawasan. Indemne John Vincent Arevalo, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Irvin Y. Indemne. Mila Joros Tagudtor, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Julio S. Mila. Mondragon Brian Vianes, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Edwin I. Mondragon. Nicodemus Darrell Escala, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Darrell I. Nicodemus. Oliva Jolan J., the son of Mrs. Rosalie P. Oliva. Renacido Janville Casugbo, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Vilmore S. Renacido. Renacido Michael Joshua de la Cruz, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Malvin V. Renacido. Susan Zoren Tambong, the son of Miss Maria Mabel I. Tambong. Takud Lawrence J. Villarais, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jesse M. Takud. Torres John Harold Makato, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Harold I. Torres. Traje Elijah Jones Tagua, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jenner T. Traje. Villanueva Ken Owa Gaspar, the son of Mrs. Florlene G. Villanueva. Arevalo Maylin Santiago, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romel M. Arevalo. Flores Irene Veroya, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald I. Flores. Gayapa Sweetlin Rose Reynaldo, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo T. Gayapa. Eledan Ann Christine Javier, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Perfecto Y. Eledan. Impreso Lea May Francisco, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Francis B. Impreso. Insauriga Leslie Jessica Magno, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John G. Insauriga. Intenta Mary Jeriel Inamarga, the daughter of Mrs. Riza Intenta Katubig. Laguna Diana Hazarina, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dionisio I. Laguna. Mariano Pomela Inan, the daughter of Mrs. Cristina I. Mariano. Navarra Erica Joy Isleta, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Zosimo Navarra. Roa Precious Kenisho, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rolando I. Roa Jr. Villanueva Cristina Francisco, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher I. Villanueva.
Yabut Alma Carly Enorme, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ariel S. Yabut. Congratulations, completers! May we give them a virtual applause. Junior High School Outstanding Students: Albacino Leia Abigail de Tomas, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro I. Albacino. Arevalo Andrea Azura, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Armando I. Arevalo. Baldomero Wesley J. Imbun, Outstanding Student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Wilson I. Baldomero. Cabanban Gira Ruiz, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Agapito L. Cabanban Jr. David Jameson Sembrano Jr., Outstanding Student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jameson I. David Sr. De La Cruz Spike Fordy Magdael, Outstanding Student, son of Mrs. Glenda May M. De La Cruz. Duque Febe Jane Malazzo, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mrs. Shara Jean M. Duque. Escosio Charles Justin Nakabuan, Outstanding Student, son of Mrs. Laurelie N. Escosio. Eusebio Carla May Remaldora, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mrs. Emma R. Ramos.
Flores Irene Veroya, Outstanding Student, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald I. Flores.
Flores Maria Richilda Yambin, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky R. Flores. Ibit Diana Joy, Outstanding Student, daughter of Miss April Jade F. Ibit.
Ibuyan Ashley Cabangfin, Outstanding Student, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Alvin Ibuyan.
Ejeska Charlene Simangan, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ramoncito I. Ejeska.
Idoreta Jorel Reynado, Outstanding Student, the son of Mrs. Rose Melinda R. Idorita. Eledan Ann Christine Javier, Outstanding Student, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Perfecto Y. Eledan.
Inan John Lawrence Rufo, Outstanding Student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Elmer I. Inan.
Inawasan Josam John Tidong, Outstanding Student, the son of Mrs. Erlinda T. Inawasan.
Indemne Kyle Tiffany Arevalo, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Irvin Y. Indemne. Indemne Vince Ponesto, Outstanding Student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Chris I. Indemne. Ingeniero Mary Danica Eleda, Outstanding Student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ariel G. Ingeniero.
Insauriga Leslie Jessica Magno, Outstanding Student, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. John G. Insauriga. Intenta Mary Jeriel Inamarca, outstanding student, the daughter of Mrs. Riza Intenta Katubig.
Isuga Tricia May Sanchez, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Clemente John Q. Isuga. Iturriaga Stephanie Jeda Mondragon, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Son O. Iturriaga. Iyoyo Cristel Joy Tagudtod, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Joel I. Iyoyo. Iyoyo Jenica Marie Sanchez, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jonel I. Iyoyo. Iyoyo Casey Tagudtod, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jose Joel I. Iyoyo. Malate Andre Joshua Rodolfo, outstanding student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Anthony G. Malate.
Mariano Fomela Ilan, outstanding student, the daughter of Mrs. Cristina I. Mariano.
Marmita Renz Tambong, outstanding student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Alejandro C. Marmita.
Mondragon Brian Vianes, outstanding student, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Edwin I. Mondragon. Navarra Erica Joy Isleta, outstanding student, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Zosimo Navarra.
Pabustan Dwayne Ryan Ingara, outstanding student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Antonio R. Pabustan. Postorioso Mary Jane Igat, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Emerito I. Postorioso Jr. Renacido Christine Baino, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Chris R. Renacido.
Renacido Michael Joshua de la Cruz, outstanding student, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Malvin V. Renacido. Roa Precious Kenisho, outstanding student, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rolando I. Roa Jr.
Salvacion Denzel Singson, outstanding student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfred A. Salvacion. Silva Soder of Renz Joshua Igong Igong, outstanding student, son of Mr. and Mrs. Homer A. Silva. Zagalas Beverly Igis, outstanding student, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Z. Zagalas.
Congratulations! And now, let us listen to the address from our junior high school completer.
To our honorable guest speaker, Mrs. Maria Melanie R. Marcos, CPA, to our active and energetic Director Principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, faculty and staff, dear parents and guardians, fellow junior high school completers, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day. It is truly a great honor for me to stand here today to speak in behalf of my fellow junior high school completers, despite of this pandemic. I have mixed feelings of delight and sorrow. Delighted because I know how happy my batchmates are. After seemingly endless modular learning, we managed to survive. I feel sad because we did not have much time to share amazing memories this year, but I hope our bonds will never break and continue in senior high school. This journey had taught us about life. We have had many lessons taught us, for which we have to thank many people. To my batchmates and friends, thank you for the friendship. To our dear teachers, thank you so much for your patience. The great teacher of St. Joseph's Academy of Malinao, Aklan Incorporated have taught us how to be self-motivated, active learners, and productive analytical thinkers. And of course, to my ever-supportive parents, I pay tribute to them for being my pillar of strength. I believe the most important thing that we have all learned at this point is that even though we are here to represent our school communities as each junior high school completers, We are all individuals. As this year's theme, strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic, I am confident that you will be able to develop and reach your full potential when we are in our new normal education. I pray that the class of 2021 will walk feeling proud of what they have accomplished in 4 years in SJA. And always remember, every day is an opportunity to improve yourself. Congratulations, Franciscans. Keep safe, keep healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Ashley Ibuyan, for a heartwarming message. To our dear Franciscans, please join Mr. Spike Fordy de la Cruz as he delivers the oath of a Josepian.
My fellow junior high school completers, please raise your right hand and follow after me. Oath of a Josepian. I, Spike Fordy de la Cruz, a Josepian, in my honor, I shall strive to be like Saint Joseph. I shall carry with me always, with pride, the identity of a true Josepian. Selfless, just, achiever. From this day forward, inside and outside the school, and even after my years of study here at St. Joseph's Academy, I shall always love God, my fellow men, and my school. I shall never forget my alma mater. Hail St. Joseph's Academy, so help us God.
Now, let us listen to our ever-supportive Schools Director Principal, Reverend Father Lawrence Andrew U. Oliva, for his closing remarks.
Congratulations, my dear Franciscans. You have now completed your junior high school. Be ready, take courage, and thrive to face the new challenges and demands of the senior high school. Moreover, never lose sight, never lose hope, and never give up until you achieve your dreams in life. God bless you always, my dear Franciscans.
Thank you, Father, for your words of wisdom.
To Franciscans class of 2020-2021, your awards signify a new level completed. You may have completed with flying colors, but what really matters is that all of these motivate you to continue with the game of life and use the knowledge and skills acquired to overcome all the obstacles that may come your way.
Go forth, grow, and be successful. A philosopher once said, "Success is not a failure. Failure is not fatal. But it is the courage to continue that counts." Once again, thank you so much and congratulations, Franciscans, class of 2021.
In behalf of school's administrative staff and faculty, we joyfully congratulate the completers, their parents, and guardians.
We sincerely thank all of those who helped and supported us in this momentous event. Thank you very much and mabuhay!
Hail St. Joseph's Academy, hark we praise and sing for thee. Our hearts and souls are set free. Oh, for to God and God we say, strive to improve our academy, help her in every way. Wealth and service given free, oh yes, yes, are given free. Oh, hail, oh, SJA, rush to alma mater, young and old enroll today. Give life, wisdom, rage, and grace for our God and country's sake. Stop not till you help the rest. Stop not till you give the best. One town we are, one school we are, one country for all. Rush to alma mater, young and old enroll today. Give life, wisdom, rage, and praise for our God and country's sake. till you help the rest. Stop not till you give